Before The Walking Dead turned post-apocalyptic TV into a mainstream juggernaut, the 2000s were quietly serving up their own visions of the end of the world. We had gritty, street-level survival stories, epic space operas, and more than one mysterious plague, all in shows that dared to imagine what happens when the world falls apart. So in this video, we're digging up the forgotten post-apocalyptic shows of the 2000s. Some were ambitious, some a little rough around the edges, but each brought something unique to humanity's last stand. And to keep things orderly as the world collapses, we're listing them in chronological order. Dark Angel. Dark Angel gave us a leather-clad Jessica Alba as Max, a genetically enhanced escapee from a shady government program. The setting, a grim dystopian Seattle, still reeling after a massive EMP wiped out the country's tech and sent the economy into freefall. Max spends her days as a bike messenger and her nights taking down corruption, finding other escaped siblings, and trying to stay ahead of the people who made her. It had a slick cyberpunk meets post-apocalypse aesthetic, fast-paced action, and plenty of quippy banter. Despite a loyal fanbase, Fox axed it after 2 seasons, leaving fans with a lot of unresolved questions. 2030 CE. This Canada's early 2000s answer to dystopian YA imagined a future where anyone over 30 mysteriously dies, thanks to a virus dubbed progressive aging syndrome. That means society is run by young adults and teens. The story follows Hart, a rebellious 15-year-old, as he joins a group investigating the truth behind the virus and the authoritarian grip of the Youth Alliance. It was very low budget, very early 2000s, and full of chunky tech props, but the premise was surprisingly dark for a show aimed at a younger audience. Sadly, it barely made it a single season before fading into TV obscurity, leaving its futuristic rebellion unresolved. Jeremiah. Jeremiah dropped us 15 years after a virus wiped out everyone over the age of 13. The survivors, now adults navigating a fractured, dangerous world. Luke Perry starred as Jeremiah, a drifter looking for a mysterious refuge called the Valhalla Sector. The show was part road trip, part political thriller, and part grim meditation on rebuilding society. It wasn't afraid to go bleak, but it also had moments of hope and camaraderie. Despite strong storytelling and a dedicated audience, creative clashes cut the series short after 2 seasons, ending before its bigger arcs could fully pay off. Battlestar Galactica. Forget cheesy space operas, this reboot was gritty, intense, and terrifyingly relevant. After the Cylons, a race of machines created by humans, wipe out most of humanity, the last survivors flee across space in a ragtag fleet, led by the aging Battlestar Galactica. What made it post-apocalyptic wasn't just the destruction of the 12 colonies, it was the constant dread, political tension, and moral compromises. The show tackled identity and survival with a complexity sci-fi TV rarely saw at the time. It ran for 4 seasons, but given how much pop culture talks about Battlestar Galactica now, it's easy to forget it was once an underdog that almost didn't happen. The New Tomorrow. A spin-off of cult favorite The Tribe, The New Tomorrow was set in the same world, one where a virus wiped out all the adults, but focused on a new generation of survivors. This time, the tone skewed younger, with a mix of tribal kids, mysterious outlanders, and a looming conflict over resources and territory. The stakes were lower than The Tribe, but it still explored survival, community, and what kind of world kids would rebuild from scratch. It ran for just 1 season, partly because fans of the original weren't thrilled about the softer approach. Still, it's a post-apocalyptic adventure with just enough danger to feel thrilling. Maddigan's Quest. Part post-apocalypse, part fantasy road trip, Maddigan's Quest told the story of the Maddigan's Fantasia circus troupe as they traveled through a ravaged future. Their mission? Replace a vital machine in their home city before its power source fails. Along the way, they pick up 2 mysterious boys from the future, adding a time travel twist to the already wild mix of magic and wasteland politics. It had that unique Kiwi TV charm, a little quirky, a little rough around the edges, but rich with world building. It only ran for 1 season, but it's still remembered for its colorful visuals and surprisingly layered story. Ergo Proxy. Yes, it's animated, but Ergo Proxy deserves a nod for being one of the most stylish and cerebral post-apocalyptic stories of the 2000s. Set in a domed city after ecological collapse, humans live alongside androids called autorevs until a virus called the cogitovirus sparks self-awareness in the machines. Enter Real Meyer, a hard-edged inspector who gets pulled into a mystery involving godlike beings known as proxies. It's moody, noir, and dripping with cyberpunk meets wasteland aesthetics. While Ergo Proxy wasn't the easiest watch, since it was dense with philosophy and symbolism, it became a cult hit for anime and sci-fi fans alike. Jericho. Jericho showed what happens to small-town America after nuclear attacks devastate the country. Set in the fictional town of Jericho, Kansas, the show followed its residents as they dealt with food shortages, societal breakdown, and the mystery of who was behind the bombs. It mixed survival drama with political intrigue, creating a grounded take on the post-apocalypse. Fans fell hard for it, so much so that when CBS canceled it after one season, they launched the now famous Nuts for Jericho campaign, sending literal tons of peanuts to the network. The outcry worked, and it got a shortened second season to wrap things up, though many still wish it had more time to tell its story on screen and didn't need to finish it in comic book form. Grand Star. This French-Canadian series flew under almost everyone's radar, but Grand Star had a fascinating premise. Set in a frozen future after a sudden climate catastrophe, humanity survives in underground cities, while the surface remains a deadly ice world. The story follows a group of young rebels uncovering government secrets about the freeze and the truth of what's happening outside. It had a unique aesthetic and leaned into mystery over spectacle. Budget limitations were obvious, but its blend of political intrigue and survival drama gave it a cult edge for those who actually found it. The Andromeda Strain. Based on Michael Crichton's classic novel, The Andromeda Strain got the TV miniseries treatment in 2008. The setup is pure nightmare fuel. A satellite crashes to Earth, unleashing a deadly alien microbe that kills in minutes. A team of scientists races against the clock to contain it, diving into underground labs, and more than a few wild twists. While it expanded Crichton's original story with modern elements, it kept the central hook. It's tense, stylish, and a reminder that not all apocalypses come with explosions. Sometimes they're too small to see until it's too late. Dead Set. Before Black Mirror, Charlie Brooker gave us Dead Set, a razor-sharp British horror satire. When a zombie outbreak erupts on the set of Big Brother, it traps the housemates in their TV bubble, while the world falls apart outside. It's gory, tense, and wickedly funny, skewering both reality TV and the media's obsession with spectacle. And the combination of claustrophobic setting and sudden brutal violence gave it a different flavor from most zombie shows. At just 5 episodes, it's a fast, bloody binge that proves Brooker was already a master of turning pop culture into pitch-black apocalypse storytelling. Honorable mentions. Before we wrap, let's look at some other shows that are apocalypse-adjacent but aren't fully set in a post-apocalyptic world. Some were about stopping the end of the world before it began, like Odyssey 5, where astronauts are sent back in time to prevent Earth's destruction, or Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, where Skynet's rise looms over everything. Revelations and The Second Coming explored biblical end times prophecies, while V gave us alien visitors with a sinister, world-threatening agenda. Others touched the apocalypse from a different angle, like Charlie Jade, a mind-bending parallel world series, one of which was post-apocalyptic, and Dollhouse, that revealed a bleak, tech-ruined future in its season finales. And if you want non-fiction takes, there is Life After People, a docuseries that imagines what would happen if humanity suddenly disappeared. And The Colony, a reality show where contestants must survive in an environment that simulates life after a post-apocalyptic event. Survivors. A modern reboot of the 1975 British series, Survivors imagined a world where a flu-like pandemic wipes out most of humanity in days. Following a small group of strangers trying to rebuild some semblance of society, the show focused less on spectacle and more on human relationships, leadership struggles, and moral compromises in a lawless world. It was grounded, emotional, and eerily prescient in hindsight. While it only lasted 2 seasons, it stood out for its character-driven approach, proving that sometimes the most compelling part of the apocalypse isn't the disaster, it's what happens after. Did we dig up your favorite forgotten 2000s post-apocalyptic shows? Or is there a hidden gem we missed? Drop your picks in the comments. Check out tvshowpilot.com for more TV deep dives, and subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel so you don't miss our next video.